To install the calcium signal plugin, go to the GitHub page and click on Releases, find the current release, and click on the jar file, and it will save to your downloads. Once you have it downloaded, find the directory where you have Figi installed, go to Plugins, and you can just simply drag the jar file into Plugins. I already have it installed here. Just close that out. Good to go, and you can open up Figi. Okay, once Figi is opened, we can go ahead and open up a video. All right. And to run the plugins, you simply go to Plugins and then Calcium Signal, run Calcium Signal. And this will open up the menu. So going button by button to make a copy, just press this button and it will generate a new copy of whatever window is currently selected. Registration will perform the Poor Man 3D registration. More information on each of these options is on the Poor Man 3D reg documentation. In general, for the calcium signals that we are looking for, rigid body, which is transformation and rotation, is the best selection. Z slices is the number of slices that this will be performed on. In this case, it's set to 600 because we have 600 in our video here. You can also set the intensity and the projection type. Once we hit OK, we are presented with this new window. This is a compressed image, so it is only one image compared to our 600, and each cell is increased in contrast and increased in brightness. And the reason we do that is if we wish to do the threshold, and we can see that these cells are now highlighted. So the threshold bar here, this is our sensitivity. The slice is set to 1 here because we only have one slice. The size filter lets us exclude certain cells if they fall under 15 or above this max value, and you can change that to whatever you want. Excluding objects on images, or if there's a half circle that's cut off, it will not be selected. Once that's done, we're presented with 2 new windows. This is the ROI Manager and the Results table. If we want more features from the ROI Manager, we have a custom ROI Manager here. The minimum cell diameter and the maximum cell diameter correspond to the diameter of these yellow circles here. We can input manually some numbers, or if we want, we have these standard deviation buttons. So if we click this, this will remove everything except for those that are within 1 standard deviation, and then 2 standard deviations and 3 standard deviations. For those to take effect, you must hit update cells. You can see that that changes. We'll keep it at there from now. Outlier analysis will generate a histogram so you can see the different cells, the max size, the min size, the standard deviation, and the mean, as well as the diameters and the frequency of those diameters. Grid suggestion pulls up a window here, which gives us grid area values. So let's say we want to make a 3x3 grid, so that's 45,000. We hit the create grid, and we can set it here, 35. And there we have our 3x3 grid. The undo button is, let's say we want to delete this ROI here, the 034. Go ahead and delete it. If we hit the undo button, we'll see that that one pops right back up. Okay. So from here, we have the ROIs that were generated on the increased contrast, but we want to move it over to the video. So to do that, we simply apply the ROI to the video. We're also given some other different options for ROIs. If we want to save this ROI set, you can click this button and it will pull up a file selector. Similarly, if we want to input an ROI set from one that we saved, it'll pull up the same dialog selector. The ROI Manager button just brings the ROI Manager up if it is not already pulled up. Set measurements applies just the Fiji set measurements box. If there are certain values that we want to show up in the results table, this is how we adjust those. Showing the results table, we'll simply pull up this results table if it is not already shown on the screen. Saving results just again opens up a file explorer to save this results table. Generate charts does a few things. The first thing that it'll do is it'll run multi-measure. So we want to measure all 600 slices and give one row per slice. Once we hit OK, this will begin to run. It's launched in a new thread, so you can still do some other things while this is running. It does take quite a bit, so we'll come back when that's done. Once multi-measure is finished, we have this cell plots window. So this contains a graph and cell data for each cell that is selected in the video. So we can go ahead and click one and do open cell. So this will pull up the chart as well as this peaks menu. So the peaks menu allows us to delete certain peaks. So if we have one that we want to get rid of, let's say we want to do 12 over here, then we just find 12, hit delete peak, and it'll be refreshed. You also have the option to select multiple peaks at the same time. So let's go ahead and delete 8 and 9. If you hold Control, or if you hold Shift, you can select multiples in a row. And if you hold Control, you can do individual, so ones that are far apart. So let's go ahead, do 8 and 9. All right, wonderful. You'll notice that the peaks reset, the numbers reset each time. So now our 9 is shifted up here. Okay. Once you're happy with all of the cell plots, you're given two options. You can generate all plots, which will generate images of all of the plots without the numbers on them, as well as a CSV with the cell data. If you hit generate CSV, it'll generate only that CSV. So we're going to go ahead and generate all plots. It'll pull up the file selector folder. Let's go ahead, we can make a new folder here. Simple. Excellent. And then once we hit that, it'll start generating. So if we pull up that folder here, example. All right, you'll notice we can see the charts generating here. So as I said before, the points are visible, but the numbers are hidden. Once these are done generating, you'll notice we get this CSV file here. You can go ahead and open that. And this will present us with just the data for each peak. So we go cell by cell, we're given the peak number and the frame that it exists on and the intensity of that peak. So if you end up hitting just the generate CSV button on the cell plots, it will only generate that CSV.